Hi writing class, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another lesson. Before we start today's lesson, I just wanted to let you guys know how proud I am of all of your great work. So great work yesterday, editing and punctuating your sentences, adding in your missing commas, capitals, and quotation marks. And we're almost finished our Expressive Writing 2 program, so keep up the awesome work. In today's class, we're going to be looking at lesson 49, part B. So I'll read what it says in our book. So let's find part B. All of the pictures are blank. I'll tell you the first part of a story. You'll use that first part to write the rest of your story. Right, so if we look at our sheet, we can see that all 4 boxes are blank. So I'll tell you the beginning of the story, and then you'll use that to write the middle and the ending of your story. So let's listen to the first part of the story. I'll read it to you a few times, so don't worry. James took his girlfriend Sarah to a very fancy restaurant. As they walked into the restaurant, James did not realize that he had forgotten his wallet with all of his money. James said to Sarah, "Tonight will be a night you will never forget." Right, so that will be the beginning part of our story. Now let's look at some key vocabulary words you can use in your story. We have the word expensive, fancy, let's, girlfriend, restaurant, and dessert. So please try to use those words in your story and make sure to spell them correctly. We also have 4 checks for you to use to help you also when writing your story. So check 1 asks, is each sentence punctuated correctly? Don't forget to start each sentence with a capital letter. Don't forget to capitalize people's names. Don't forget to add in any missing commas. And make sure to put in exact words in quotation marks. Check 2 asks us, are there any unclear words in your paragraphs? So remember, before we can use the words he, she, they, or it, you first have to introduce the people or the person or the item in the previous sentence. If we don't do that, then those words will be unclear. Check 3 asks us, did you write at least 3 sentences that need commas? So remember, if a sentence begins with a part that tells when or where, or if a sentence begins with the words if, although, or unless, we need to make sure to add a comma. Also, if we're combining 2 sentences with the word but, we also need to add in a comma before the word but. And one more thing is if our sentence is naming 3 or more different things or people, we also have to make sure to put a comma in between. Check 4 asks us, did you write at least 5 paragraphs? So remember, we start a new paragraph each time a new person speaks or when we're writing about a different part of our story. So let's listen to the first part of our story one more time. So I've written it out and we'll go through it together. Right, so the first sentence says, James took his girlfriend Sarah to a very fancy restaurant. Right, make sure to capitalize James's name and Sarah's name. Our next sentence begins with a part that tells when. That means we'll need to have a comma. Right, so as they walked into the restaurant, so we need to have a comma right after the word restaurant because this is a part that tells when and it's at the beginning of our sentence. Right, so as they walked into the restaurant, James did not realize that he had forgotten his wallet with all his money. The next sentence says, James said to Sarah, "Tonight will be a night that you will never forget." Right, so James is saying some exact words. So we have to make sure to put his exact words in quotation marks. Right, so the exact words are, "Tonight will be a night that you will never forget." So I have my opening quotation mark at the beginning and my closing quotation mark at the end. Right? Don't forget to add in your comma after the word Sarah. And don't forget to start the word tonight with a capital T. Remember, the first letter of the first word inside of our quotation mark has to be capitalized. So I'll read the story one more time, the beginning part, and then I want you guys to write the ending and the middle part on your own. So James took his girlfriend Sarah to a very fancy restaurant. As they walked into the restaurant, James did not realize that he had forgotten his wallet with all of his money. James said to Sarah, "Tonight will be a night that you will never forget." So what do you think will happen next? So you can be creative, you can make up what people will say and what happens. So keep up the awesome work, and if you have any questions, please let me know. See you guys.